Imagine if I told you there's a tried and true way to develop steel-hard mental toughness, a method that's been used by Roman emperors and is free for you to adopt. That method is Stoicism, a 2,000-year-old philosophy that teaches practical techniques to make you as resilient as iron and as unbreakable as steel. In this story, I'll walk you through exactly how you can apply it to transform your mindset, build unshakable mental strength, and turn your life around, helping you become a true winner. Stoicism is more than just theory. It's a pragmatic set of tools crafted in the furnace of everyday life, designed from the ground up to be impervious to fractures. But here's something most folks miss about mental toughness. They believe it's all about sheer grinding it out, grinding your teeth and powering through with relentless willpower. The problem is, willpower is a limited resource. It runs out when you need it most. And when your willpower drains, you're left more vulnerable than before, weaker in the face of challenges. But Stoicism doesn't operate that way. Instead of relying on brute force, it builds true resilience through three core skills: understanding and managing your emotions, thinking rationally, and acting according to virtue. Think of it like this. Willpower is a sprint that leaves you exhausted, but Stoicism is endurance training that makes you stronger with every obstacle you face. Let me show you what this actually looks like. Picture receiving some harsh criticism at work. The quick fix might be to simply tough it out and pretend it doesn't bother you, but here's the Stoic approach. First, take a moment to pause and objectively assess the criticism. Ask yourself, is it valid? Is there something I can learn from it? If yes, use it as a stepping stone to improve. If no, recognize that it says more about the person giving it than about you. Either way, you're intentionally choosing how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. This is the critical distinction. Reactive toughness is about brute force, but intelligent resilience is about strategic control. One weakens you when your resolve collapses. The other makes you stronger every time you handle a challenge well. At its core, Stoic mental toughness is captured in a simple yet profound truth. You cannot control what happens to you, but you absolutely control how you respond. Many people waste endless energy fighting things they can't influence: the other people's opinions, traffic jams, weather, even our past mistakes. But the Stoics focus 100% of their energy on what they can influence: your thoughts, your actions, and your character. Here's how this shift in focus turns problems into opportunities. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" When something goes wrong, ask, "How can I use this to become stronger?" This small change in perspective flips everything. If you lose your job, don't spiral into panic. Instead, ask, "What doors could this open? How can I leverage this time to pursue work that truly aligns with my values?" Marcus Aurelius summed this up perfectly. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your real power lies not in controlling external events, but in choosing your attitude, feelings, and actions in response to them. The first step towards building mental toughness is to ditch the victim mentality, something true toughness absolutely shuns. When setbacks happen, which they inevitably will, the reflex is often to complain, blame others, or feel sorry for ourselves. But that's exactly when you need to pause and reframe. Instead of viewing obstacles as insurmountable barriers, ask yourself, what opportunity lies behind this obstacle? What lesson can I learn? How can I use this setback to make myself better, stronger, or wiser? Marcus Aurelius beautifully captured this idea. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. That obstacle you see blocking you is actually paving the way forward if you choose to see it that way. This mental shift is powerful. It's the ability to see your attitude and actions as the true sources of power and ability to choose how to think and act, regardless of external circumstances. That's genuine mental toughness. It's about transforming every difficulty into a stepping stone for growth, resilience, and learning. Now, I'll share a surprising technique for battling anxiety: negative visualization. Most folks try to stay positive by avoiding negative thoughts, but Stoics do the opposite. They proactively imagine the worst-case scenarios to diminish fear's grip. Here's why this works. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty. When you fear something vague or undefined, your imagination runs wild, creating monsters far scarier than reality. But when you've deliberately visualized the worst what could go wrong, you confront those fears in broad daylight. You realize they're often manageable, even survivable. For example, if you have a big presentation coming up, don't just see yourself succeeding. Also, imagine what if your technology fails? What if someone asks a question you don't know how to answer? What if you stumble over your words? Then, prepare for these possibilities. Equipment ahead of time. Craft responses to potential questions. Rehearse difficult sections and plan backups. This mental preparation inoculates you against panic because you've already considered the worst, planned for it, and proven to yourself that you can handle it. Seneca called this rehearsing difficulties, and it's one of the most effective methods ever devised to reduce anxiety. Seneca urged his readers to rehearse life's hardships in their mind's exile, torture, war, shipwreck. Not because he wanted people to dwell in misery, but because mental rehearsal builds toughness. And how do we achieve maximum resilience? The Stoics believed it all comes down to virtue, not some abstract, dusty idea of goodness, but practical virtue actions rooted in wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. Virtue, for a Stoic, is about aligning your actions with what's inherently good and rational, not about trying to please others or follow arbitrary rules. It's about living in tune with nature and the universe's basic principles. That way, your life gains solid purpose and unshakable meaning. Think of it this way. If your actions are driven by fear, anger, or the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, you're like a ship tossed about by every wave. But if they're grounded in virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, you become the anchor, steady regardless of what storms come your way. How do you develop virtue? It starts with conviction. You need to consciously decide who you want to be and what values you want to embody. This requires honest self-reflection, asking yourself tough questions, writing down your core principles, and making them concrete. But conviction alone isn't enough. The real challenge is living by those principles every single day. Every day, opportunities will present themselves to practice virtue, perhaps in a tough conversation where you need courage and fairness, or in moments of frustration where emotional moderation is needed, or maybe helping someone in need. Each of those instances is a chance to actively put justice into practice. The secret is your conscious choice, deciding, even when it's hard, to respond with virtue rather than reacting impulsively. Start small. Focus on one virtue each week, actively seeking situations where you can practice it. At night, review your day. Where did you succeed? Where did you stumble? What can you do differently tomorrow? This intentional, daily practice is what gradually builds inner strength. It shifts you from being reactive and vulnerable to becoming proactive and resilient. One of the most profound concepts in Stoicism is amor fati, loving your fate. It's not about passively accepting mistreatment or surrendering to injustice. It's about embracing everything life throws at you as raw material for growth and wisdom. Most people fight against reality, wishing things were different, wasting energy in frustration. But the Stoics teach us to align ourselves with what actually happens and find ways to turn it into an opportunity. Epictetus famously said, "Don't seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and your life will flow smoothly." This is arguably the most radical idea in Stoicism. Stop resisting life's natural course and start working with it. We often exhaust ourselves fighting the current of life, complaining, resisting, wishing, and in doing so, draining our energy. Instead, what if we aligned ourselves with that current? That's what amor fati is all about. Understanding that almost everything in everyday life can serve as a lesson or a source of wisdom when it seems like just problems and setbacks. If the Stoics found value in this, so can you. Imagine a time you faced a big setback, say, the end of a meaningful relationship. Your first reaction was likely disappointment, anger, maybe even despair. But what if, instead of getting stuck in negativity, you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from it? The core message is to reframe your outlook. Use your incredible human mind to recognize every problem as an opportunity to grow, develop resilience, build wisdom, adapt better, and live more aligned with your core values. Epictetus put it beautifully. Do not seek for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things to happen as they do, and you will find a peaceful flow in life. Success in life comes from aligning your desires with reality. By practicing amor fati, you stop wasting energy fighting the inevitable, and instead, learn to use every loss, disappointment, or hardship as raw material for your growth. You begin to see the good in every circumstance, even if it's hidden beneath difficulty. Living mindfully and in the present moment is another pillar of Stoic philosophy. It's about focusing fully on right now, cutting through anxiety about the future or regret about the past. This makes you mentally stronger because each moment is an opportunity to practice virtue and resilience. One of the best ways to stay rooted in the present is mindful observation, lightly watching your thoughts and feelings as they come and go, without getting caught up in them. Think of your mind like a river. Your thoughts are leaves floating on the surface. Watch them pass, acknowledge their presence, but don't try to grab them or analyze them immediately. When negative thoughts arise, say, anger at a friend or embarrassment about a mistake, arises the urge to judge or criticize yourself. Just notice, I'm having a thought that's making me angry, or I'm experiencing an emotion of anxiety. The key is to observe without judgment, letting those thoughts and feelings pass by like clouds. This creates mental space and gives you more control over your reactions. Marcus Aurelius offered a teaching on this. Concentrate every minute on doing what's in front of you with seriousness and justicias if you're a Roman soldier, fully focused, fully present. Imagine his mindset leading armies, governing an empire, facing daily challenges all while maintaining this laser focus on the present. If you channel that same energy, you reduce anxiety and regret and strengthen your inner resolve. When life throws a punch, the Stoics designed a system to help you stay resilient, no matter what. And one of their straightforward strategies is action in the action, even a tiny step. When faced with paralysis, feeling of being stuck in a problem so overwhelming you don't know where to start, the antidote is simple. Do something. Because action creates momentum, shifting you from feeling like a victim to becoming an active participant in your own life. Another common challenge is when someone insults you. That sting we all feel. Most of the time, the real damage comes from giving their words power over our self-esteem. The Stoics advise us to assess the insult rationally. Is there any truth? If yes, can I learn from it? If no, then it's just noise meant to provoke a reaction. Marcus Aurelius said, begin each day by reminding yourself that you'll encounter interference, ingratitude, insolence, dishonesty, malice, and selfishness, all due to others' ignorance of what's good or evil. That prepares your mind for the inevitable. Remember, external judgments don't define your worth. That's something only you can determine through your virtue, your integrity, and your intentions. Focus on what's within your control, your actions, thoughts, and character, and let everything else go. Epictetus emphasized this. How long are you going to wait before demanding excellence from yourself? That's the core of the Stoic fight, striving for the best, not for external validation, but to cultivate the inner strength that guides your life according to your values. And yes, setbacks and losses are inevitable, but with the right mindset, you can turn even tragedy into a stepping stone for growth. For example, if you lose something like your car, don't deny the pain. That's a natural human response. But remember, you still possess your skills, experience, and connections, assets no one can take away. Money can be replaced, but your character and wisdom are yours forever. Seneca wisely pointed out that we fear losses as if they're permanent, forgetting that everything, including our pain, is fleeting. Today's pain will pass, and every action you take pushes you toward a better future, strengthening your mental muscles along the way. By practicing this daily, whether through morning reflections, setting intentions rooted in virtue, or mindful moment-to-moment awareness, you reinforce resilience. Start each day by asking, who do I want to be today? What virtues will I practice? During the day, stay conscious of your actions. Question, is this aligned with my values? When night falls, review your progress without self-criticism. Celebrate your victories, learn from your shortcomings, and plan how to improve tomorrow. Here's a simple, real-world example. Imagine you're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic. It's a natural reaction to feel anger, but a Stoic doesn't pretend that anger doesn't exist. Instead, they acknowledge it. I feel anger, but then ask themselves, is this anger helping me? Is it helping me handle this situation? Usually, the answer is no. So they choose to respond calmly and rationally, preventing anger from escalating and keeping their composure. So now you've got the blueprint, a clear plan, a roadmap for building mental toughness. You see what resilience really is, how to develop it, and the practical steps to support your growth. Let's boil all this down into a few key principles, pillars that uphold your inner fortress. Accept what you cannot control, focus entirely on your sphere of influence, and live by virtue. Letting wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation guide every decision. Practice visualizing challenges in advance with techniques like negative visualization, transforming difficulties into opportunities for strength. Embrace your fate, seeing everything that happens as raw material for growth, not something to fight against. Remember, progress doesn't mean perfection. Start small. Develop one good habit at a time, create a consistent routine, and gradually fold these principles into your daily life. This isn't just about reading philosophy. It's about changing how you navigate the stormy seas of life, becoming calmer, more resilient, and ultimately more in control of your destiny. You've got what it takes. Just try, work at it every day, and enjoy the stronger, more unbreakable version of yourself you're building on day at a time.